Hey guys, what up? Hope everybody's having a good week. Hope everybody's having a good pre-AEP, last day of pre-AEP. I wanted to take a minute and just kind of jump in here and do just some quick thoughts so far of my take of how I'm viewing this AEP so far. And I also wanted to do a live Q&A for you guys. I had a couple of minutes. Been a very, very busy day. What up, Tyler? What up, Ricardo? Hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and my genuine impression so far of this AEP, and I also wanted to just make sure that I spent some time doing a Q&A for you guys. Hey, Lori, how are you today? Hope everything's going well. I wanted to also kind of jump in here, guys, because I promised you guys I was going to do a Q&A over the weekend, and it seems like without fail, every single year, the plague of some kind hits my house. So my daughter, who's 3.5, she came home with some kind of sickness, and it just get really, really bad. She was puking all over herself on Sunday. And then, of course, I ended up coming down with it on Wednesday. And actually, it was Tuesday. I toughed it out, went into work on Tuesday, but I did not want to infect my whole office. And I think I did get some people sick here anyway. But I worked from home on Wednesday. So it's that time of the year. AEP is really difficult, in my opinion. I mean, I was talking to somebody today, and I was telling them that I feel like AEP would be better off if it was in the summer. And some people hate me saying that, and I completely understand why they feel that way, because summer's the time to go on vacation. But for me, I would so much rather it be during summer, because let's face it, I mean, I'm not getting sick in the summer. It'd just be easier for me to get through it. And then maybe I could enjoy the fall, like the holiday season. I could, I don't know, go to some haunted houses or whatever, but it is what it is. So first things first, you guys, I'm going to be doing question and answers. So any questions that you guys have for me, if you're watching this live, throw them down in the comment section for me. And what I will do is I'll answer them, and I'll come around to them kind of closer to the end. Big question on everybody's mind is, how are things going with the call recordings? As far as I'm concerned, seamless. Has not been much of an issue whatsoever. I'll kind of share with you guys how we're actually doing our call recordings. I've talked about it before in the group, but if maybe you haven't seen any of my posts or any of my communications about it, I'll just pass it along anyway. So for us, we use RingCentral for our phone system. RingCentral is an internet phone line. It's really, really nifty. It might be a little more pricey compared to some other options out there. That is the truth. But it's something that can pretty much do anything once it's set up. Now, yes, it's true that the customer service and the support is outsourced. It's overseas. And what you get when you have something that's overseas like that is sometimes the quality isn't as good in terms of the customer service and everything like that. But once it's set up, you don't have to continue to tinker with it, and that's been our experience. So it works really well. It automatically records all of our phone calls, but it only stores them in the app for 90 days. So that, of course, was a problem, because the way it was as is was we would have to record the calls. Of course, they record automatically, but we would have to download them and upload them into the CRM individually, manually, one by one. There's still a couple calls here and there that our process is making us do that for. But all in all, a majority of our phone calls are automatically being sent over to the CRM. But what we're doing is we've connected it with Zapier. So we have Zapier, of course, which is a third-party connecting platform. We use it to connect with our thanks.io account in order to send out birthday cards automatically, in order to send out thank you cards automatically to our clients and our customers. It automatically will send the recording. If it's a current client or a current lead in Agency Block already, and is stored as a file, and it will send it over to Agency Block. And it will automatically store it under their file. So that's taking care of a majority of our phone call recording issues. Some people have started, using Medicare Center, and that's certainly a good tool. I tested it a little bit, and it seems pretty cool. It seems pretty good to me, but of course it's not what we're using, because I think what we need for our purposes as an agency that's multiple person agency is a little bit more intuitive. I'm definitely seeing a lot of changes this AEP in terms of plans, and we kind of knew this coming in. This isn't exactly news, but I think because of that, I think it's springing a lot more people of wanting to make changes opposed to maybe past AEP. I think past AEP, a lot of people found that there wasn't a lot of movement shift in many, many different markets. And what that really entailed is you're seeing, at least last AEP, last AEP, you would see people not wanting to answer the phone as much. You'd see people not reply as much to direct mail, which of course I think you're still going to see that this AEP. But you'd see in a litany of different things that would cause lead generation tactics to be lower. And so this AEP, our marketing efforts are going very well. Between our Facebook ads to between our telemarketing, we're getting a good volume there. Between vendors we bought from, doing pretty well there. Our direct mail is actually working out pretty well for our branded direct mail. We're bringing in some traffic. And we did some senior expo stuff. So we did we did 2 different senior expos, both of which were 2 days long. We probably gave cards out to 1,500 to 1,800 seniors between the 2 expos. We've got some apps that we have lined up to write from some of those, and we got some that we could write immediately, like a Medicare supplement person. And so we're doing good. We're doing good, guys. I mean, this is set to be a really, really strong AEP for our office. I hope it is for you guys as well. And I want to make sure that I spend some time answering any questions that you guys might have. So, because I promised I would do a Q&A for you guys, I couldn't do it because of my sick kiddo. So, what questions do you guys have for me? And I just encourage you to just throw them down in the chat, and I'll just spend some time here today, and I'll answer any question that you guys want me to touch on. Christian, how important is HIPAA compliance with such automated systems? I think it's compliant. I mean, not compliant. I think it's important, of course, to be as HIPAA compliant as possible. Of course, like with Agency Block, it's HIPAA compliant. If you use Eric Fierro's DFY, it's HIPAA compliant, and Go High Level is HIPAA compliant. Ring Central is HIPAA compliant. I mean, I think it's fine. I think as long as you're not using some sketchy service or anything like that, it's going to be okay. I think a majority of things are going to be fine. It's not something that keeps me up at night. Let me put it that way. What up, Bobby? Bobby is going to have a monster AEP, you guys. Bobby Brasino in our office, in the house. Hope you're feeling good, Bobby. But yeah, I hope that answered your question about HIPAA compliance. It's not something that I spend a lot of time thinking about. It's more so that like you want to make sure you're working with a legitimate service. And, I think as long as you're not using some, cookie cutter, kind of sketchy under the table kind of thing, whatever it might be, I think you're going to be okay with those kind of things. But you definitely want to be HIPAA compliant. And I think a lot of the major CRMs and services out there are going to be that. What up, Jessica? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope AEP's treating you well. Hope hasn't been too crazy. Good deal, Bobby. Good deal. So I think I got Bobby sick, you guys. What kind of a leader am I? Getting people sick. Pretty sure that Eric Fierro guy's legit service. Yeah, it is. It even says that Eric Fierro guy's service even says HIPAA compliant. When you log in, it says right there, HIPAA compliant. What other service says that? No, Eric's not all guy. Oh, there. I didn't know that. Not all Go High Level is HIPAA compliant. Good to know. Thanks for sharing that, Eric. I did not know that. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Any idea if DFY/Go High Level can transfer calls to Agency Block? I think that it can. Eric, if you're still on, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I think it can, but probably through Zapier. Right, Eric? Wouldn't it need like a Zapier to connect the two? That would be my guess. I'm pretty sure that is how it would go. By the way, guys, I'm a big believer in DFY. So if you guys aren't on DFY, I love it. So let's talk about DFY for a second. I think that, and of course, any questions you have, throw them in the comments. This is a open-ended Q&A, so I'll answer every single question that goes down there. I don't care how long it takes. But let's talk about DFY for a moment. So we've had all of our leads going into DFY since the 1st. Of course, you can start talking and having conversations on the 1st, right? You just can't take an app until the 15th. But you can certainly start doing a lot of stuff up until then. And so we've had all of our leads going into it. And man, it has the amount of people we're able to reach that will never answer the phone. Some people in our office, they'll call a lead 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and they'll never answer the phone. No matter how many times you call, no matter how many different numbers you call from, it doesn't matter. They're not going to pick up. And they'll text back. They'll text back for automations. They'll respond to a text message. They'll call back in from a ringless voicemail drop, And it allows us to have contact and communication with people that we never would have had before if we didn't have those multiple touch points like we do with DFY. Now, yes, you could text it yourself. You could leave voicemails and stuff like that. But if you add up all the time it takes to do that manually, it's a time restraint. That's the word I'm looking for, to just do it yourself. And the system does it for you. It's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's helped us tremendously by getting in touch with our leads at such a high rate. There's been people that have called back in and we sell them, and we never get them on the phone through DFY. So it's just great. Jessica, Jiha, any experience with this specifically? Can it be treated the same as FEHB/TRICARE, where you can have an MA plan as primary and you can use FEHB as secondary? I'm assuming so, but want to be sure. Yes, so Jiha is very, very similar to FEHB. It's a different kind of branch, if you will. It's different people qualify for it than qualify for FEHB, but yes, you can write those people. We write them with MA only plans. Certainly, there's a lot of agents and agencies out there that think I'm Satan for doing that. I guess I'm Satan. I should go with Satan for Halloween. I don't know, but yeah, it works well. It works well. I mean, sometimes FEHB is certainly more tricky. To me, people always go make such a big fuss about TRICARE and VA and all this stuff. To me, FEHB is more complicated for the average agent than TRICARE is. TRICARE is pretty self-explanatory. TRICARE is pretty freaking easy to me. FEHB can be, and Jiha too, it can have a lot of different variables, right? So a person can have FEHB and then let's just say they don't take Part B. I see this all the time with FEHB because they can keep their FEHB plan and have it not be a secondary in the retirement. They can do that. Now, will they get a Part B penalty if they pick up Part B later? Yes, they will. However, it doesn't impact them if they never need Part B. And sometimes they determine that their federal employee health benefit plan benefits are good enough without Medicare. So there's just more X's and O's, I feel like, with FEHB than there is TRICARE. But the short answer to that question is yes, you can do it. Yes. Should I start talking like that all the time, guys? Yes. Are you tuned in with ZI only, Eric? I'll let Eric answer that. Sean, what up, Sean? I think you should not shave until your office sells 100 policies. I like that. It won't take very long, I don't think. I think, Eric Fierro, time equals money, baby. Automation gives you back time. Absolutely. Time is as much of a currency as money, guys. That's a fact. It is. And if any, in a lot of certain perspectives, time is more valuable than money because you can't buy back time. If you lose money, you can get it back. If you lose time, you can't get it back. So anything that's going to help you be more efficient, be more effective, is going to be just absolutely invaluable for you in your business. Yeah, guys. I mean, we have a lot of people lined up for tomorrow. We're going to be, doing applications for. We'll be able to, submit enrollments for them. So we're really excited about that. And I hope you guys are, kind of in the same boat. 15th is always such a crazy day. I always told my wife, for years when I was doing AEP by myself, that 15th is probably the craziest, busiest day of the entire year. And so it's definitely a very important day. But what you do from the 1st to the 14th to kind of lead up to the 15th is definitely going to be vital for how well I think the 15th goes and, some of the days to follow. So I think hopefully you guys have been productive and, done well by getting out there prospecting up until this point. I call it pre-AEP for a reason because there's a lot of things you can do that are AEP activities. You just can't take a nap. With Eric's CRM, are leads generated available to his team ever? You mean like Eric's agents? So Eric doesn't have agents. Eric doesn't run an agency? I mean, I should let Eric answer these questions. I don't know if he got off or not, but Eric's full-time gig is develop and build infrastructure and innovate his system. So Eric's an agent. Eric's been an agent and a marketer and built teams and had agents for a multitude of years. So I'll speak to Eric's credibility with that. But yes, he has a farm. Yeah, he does. But yeah, I mean, so Eric could, if Eric wanted to, Eric could employ probably 5 to 10 agents, do all the marketing for them, just feed them, and it would do great with the system. But yeah, I mean, hope that answers your question on that. All right, what else we got? Would the benefit to doing that mainly be the extra benefits of the MA plan? Yeah, it would because the way I look at it is I tackle it on two perspectives. One, if they already have Medicare, right? If they already have Medicare, then they want to be double covered. They want to have Medicare and the federal plan. So by pairing it with the MA only plan, assuming that it covers their doctors and doesn't give them network restrictions and all this stuff, because people are going to watch that and they're going to give me grief about that because if I don't say that. Yes, absolutely. Any Medicare Advantage sale, whether that's FEHB, whether it's TRICARE, whether it's none of that, just a regular plan, you want to make sure that there's no network restrictions and their doctors are covered, et cetera, right? All of that, obviously. But yes, the benefit is the dental, the vision, the hearing, the Part B give back, all of the above. That's definitely where they're going to come out ahead on doing a situation like that. What do you actually cover for a compliant enrollment? I love that question. I'll come back to that just a sec, Dave. Jessica, give him both options because I don't think he knows MA is an option to get Part B give back. Absolutely, yeah. You cover their options and let them make the best decision. Just be an educator, like anything, right? MedSup versus Medicare Advantage, same thing when someone's turned 65. Okay, Dave, so what do you actually cover for a compliant enrollment? Okay, so what you're going to cover, of course, right, is a couple of different things. So I guess it depends if you are in person or if you're over the phone, but I'll just kind of tackle it on both perspectives. Of course, if you're over the phone, before you go into actual plan benefits, you have to do your disclaimer, right? We do not carry every single Medicare plan in your area. For a full list of plans, call 1-800-MEDICARE. I'm memorized at this point. You have to go through that. And then what I usually will do, it depends on who I'm talking to too. If I am talking to somebody that already has a Medicare Advantage plan, I'm first wanting to know what plan I'm going to be recommending for them. And so often for me, I'll see if they'll let me run a drug comparison. And I'll tell them, I'll be like, we could spend a lot of time looking at a plan together, and it might be the worst plan for you based on your prescription. So let me just quickly run a drug comparison. I'll do that very quickly. And that's usually my first thing. I'll ask where their doctors are located. It helps to know your networks in your area, right? And by those two pieces of information, I can get a pretty good idea, once I've run the drug comparison, of what is going to be a good plan to combat what their current plan is. And then I'll go into, probably the disclaimer before I talk about plan benefits. I'll then go into scope of appointment proceedings. And then from there, what we'll do is I'll locate a plan. And then, of course, you want to go through summary benefits. So if they have an email, it's a good thing to email them over a copy of the summary benefits, like a PDF. If they don't, you just read through everything. You'll go through the complete summary of benefits. And it depends on who you're actually it depends on who you're actually talking to too, right? Like, because you have to go through more information for a T65 person than you do a person that's already on Medicare Advantage looking to compare it to another Medicare Advantage, or a person that's looking to go from a Medicare Advantage to a Medicare Supplement with original Medicare, or vice versa, right? So I'm going to go through plan benefits. While I'm going through plan benefits, usually what I'll do is I'll tell them how it compares to their current plan. So I'll be like, so this plan has a specialist copay of blah. Your current plan has a specialist copay of blah. So I'll go through that one by one so I can give them that side-by-side comparison over the phone in their mind. And I feel like that's really something that is entails. it's just really having that conversation and having an explanation as to why you feel like a plan would be more beneficial for them than what they're currently on. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, as long as you're doing the disclaimer, getting your scope, and all that stuff, you're not supposed to say things like "this is the best plan in the area" or anything like that. Or you should be fine. Of course, try to always try to make sure that, of course, you're giving them the best plan for them. No, duh, right? But it's something that you need to say. Let's see. A lot of comments on here, guys. A lot of comments. I'm just going through them real quickly. If someone knows when they are going to retire within a few months, how soon should they apply for Part B generally? I usually say I usually recommend the closest 2 months before, because I like to have wiggle room. I don't like to feel rushed, and I don't like the client to feel rushed. So I would say minimum 2 months before, but I like 3 months before as 3 months before is a perfect time for me. So that's probably when I like to have them start applying for their Part B, because with Social Security, depending on which office you're dealing with, what part of the country, what market, you never know how long it's going to take them to get that Part B applied. My experience is usually about anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, but I've seen it be as long as like 2 months. So I'd say minimum 2 months, but 3 months is probably my sweet spot if I have a preference. And then once you have the Part B added, then it's barbecue chicken, baby. Does your agency have an auto decider for meds? Not really. I mean, of course, we have Medicare Center, like everybody. So if we have a client and we've had their meds in their file in Medicare Center, we can have it saved in there. We have the meds on a lot of clients' files saved in agency block under their file. Oftentimes, to be honest with you guys, we're not doing anything super special there. We just run it on Medicare.gov, and it just seems to work really well for us. Side question. What up, Todd? Side question. Someone turns 65 and has their Part A, but is continuing to work. Can they continue to contribute to an HSA? No, because having Part A still means you have Medicare. You're still having Medicare in some way, shape, or form. So if someone is turned 65, they're continuing to work, and they're postponing their Part B, and they have an HSA, I tell them not to enroll into anything. I would tell them not to enroll into A at all, because it can affect their ability to contribute, because having Part A, even if it's only Part A, still means they're on Medicare in some form or fashion. So hope that helps, Todd. Let's see. Oh, it's been a long day, guys. Long day. Long. Any questions you guys got for me? What else you got for me? You guys gonna keep me here all night? Gonna keep me here all night? Cool, guys. I love doing these. If you guys feel like these are helpful, do me a favor, let me know about it. Comment on this video and say, please do more of these or anything like that. And I'm happy to come to pop in throughout AEP and do a couple every so often. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help you guys as much as I can while still helping myself. One thing I do want to say, though, before I kind of end this, is if nobody has any more questions, but is just to understand a couple of things, guys. There's several people like myself, and there's several people that just give a lot to communities, and they do so for no charge or anything like that. I get about 15 to 30 DMs a day from agents asking questions. Now, oftentimes, I'd say maybe half of them are agents that are with us, but half the time they're probably agents that I have no idea who they are. I have no relationship with them. And the agents that are with us are great because they're so, easy to talk to. They're just so kind in their questions and everything like that. So I love all of our agents, but it seems like the agents that I never know who they are and they have no connection to me or affiliation with me whatsoever, they seem to be just so entitled. And so if you ever send me a message and you're not connected to me and I don't know you and you don't know me, I mean, you might feel like you know me, because you see me all the time, but I don't know you. And so sometimes people, that aren't connected to me, they when they send messages, they're very entitled. If I don't respond right away, they get upset, or whatever the case might be. Or if I answer a question, it's not to their liking, or whatever the case might be. If someone messages me and I kind of get the feeling that they're just kind of being kind of a douche, they're being just kind of like entitled, like, well, jump on the phone with me. There's people all the time. They're like, hey, can you jump on the phone with me? It'll take like 5 minutes. I don't need much of your time. I just have this question. I'm like, who are you? I'm like, who are you? If I don't respond, it's because I either was too busy, you're not connected to me, or I just didn't like your tone. Frankly, I'm not everybody's bitch. Sorry to say, I will bend over much more for our own agents though. Definitely. What auto discrimination tools do your agents have to utilize? Do you mean like underwriting tool? Help me understand what you mean by that. And I might be able to help answer the question a little bit. I'm a little confused on what you mean by that. George, does someone that stopped paying Part B for a year get penalized when they re-enroll to Part B? Yeah, they do. If they don't have any kind of credible coverage like work coverage, that they're postponing or anything like that. If they just drop Part B and then they just pick it up later, they would have a late enrollment penalty for however long that they didn't have Part B. So yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, they would. So yeah, on back to that other question. So CSG is a great tool because it has some good underwriting tools. That seems to be perfectly fine for us. You can type in like a condition and things like that, and it can kind of filter some things out. You can type in some medications. So that CSG is a great one. Most FMOs provide that for free now. It's part of Medicare Center if your FMO is part of an integrity partner. Let's see. Awesome, Brian. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I hope you really enjoy the book. Put a lot of effort into it, so I hope you really like it. Tyler, back to my other question. If someone retiring and applying for Part B only, or both, and they can, let's see, they can do it 2 months prior, like you suggested. Can they designate a specific month for it to start, correct? Yes, they can for the Part B form. So the Part A is always going to backdate to the month of the effective date, or the month of their birthday, their 65th birthday. So Part A, if they didn't already apply for it, is always going to backdate to the first of their birth month that they turn 65. Part B, they can specify, but on the form there's no spot where you can specify. So the best thing to do is to write in the remarks, if you do like a form that you send in, write in the remarks a requested effective date. Say, please start Part B such and such date. And that seems to have never failed us. It kind of gives them some direction. If you don't put a date, they're just going to guess oftentimes, or they might just do like the first of the upcoming month or whatever. So it's good to write that on there. Some have auto enrollment capacity. Yours? CSG? Yeah. I mean, I hope when you say auto enrollment, I think you mean all in one, right? You can do some multiple carriers applications in one place. Yeah, CSG, there's a lot of carriers you can do MedSup applications in one place. Medicare Center, Sunfire, Connecture, you can do Medicare Advantage and Part T prescription drug plans. So yes, you should be able to do that with most of them. I certainly know you can with Medicare Center CSG. I don't know about all of them, but I know with Medicare Center CSG you can. All right, cool guys. All right, I gave you 30 minutes. So I'm going to hop off here. If you guys like these, let us know. Drop comments. My staff will be monitoring these just to kind of see what kind of engagement it gets. And if you guys like them and you want to see more of them throughout AEP, let us know, and I'll try to make some time for them. Thank you guys for being on here, and wish you guys nothing but abundance and success throughout AEP. And good luck. See you next time, guys. Later.